On November 10, 1775, a Corps of Marines was created by a resolution of Continental Congress. Since that date, many thousand men have borne the name Marine. In memory of them, it is fitting that we who are Marines should commemorate the birthday of our Corps by calling to mind the glories of its long and illustrious history. The record of our Corps is one in which will bear comparison with that of the most famous military organizations in the world's history. During 90 of the 146 years of its existence, the Marine Corps has been in action against the nation's foes. From the Battle of Trenton to the Argonne, Marines have won foremost honors in war, and in the long eras of tranquility at home, generation after generation of Marines have grown gray in war in both hemispheres and in every corner of the seven seas, that our country and its citizens might enjoy peace and security. In every battle and every skirmish since the birth of our Corps, Marines have acquitted themselves with the greatest distinction, winning new honors on each occasion until the term Marine has come to signify all that is highest in military efficiency and soldierly virtue. This high name of distinction and soldierly repute we who are Marines today have received from those who preceded us in the Corps. With it, we have also received from them the eternal spirit which has animated our Corps from generation to generation and has been the distinguishing mark of the Marines in every age. So long as that spirit continues to flourish, Marines will be found equal to every emergency in the future, as they have been in the past, and the men of our nation will regard us as worthy successors to the long line of illustrious men who have served as soldiers of the sea since the founding of the Corps. John A. Lejeune, Major General Commandant. Hi all, welcome to Beery Good Tidbits for Beery Good Entertainment. This is episode 6, in Remembrance. Marine tradition holds that the U.S. Marine Corps, was formed in a bar. The story dates to late November 1775 when newly commissioned captains Samuel Nicholas and Robert Mullen supposedly organized the first Marine Corps muster at Tun Tavern, a popular watering hole in Philadelphia. The two officers are said to have lured potential Marines with mugs of beer and promise of adventure on the high seas. Their recruits later made up the 5 companies that served aboard the Continental Navy ships. Today we honor more than just Marines. We are honoring all the traditions around the whole world that are dedicated to keeping human life safe. The Marines Feast is an excellent way for us to do that, and we'd like to give you some non-traditional ideas for your own feast. Because even if you cannot honor those you love on this day, you can at least provide them with a feast fit for a Marine. I'm Sorcerer Zero.
I'm Francesca.
I'm Strategos.
We really hope you enjoy today's episode.
Thank you for watching, and thank you for your service.
One of our main dishes tonight is chicken Wellington. You may be familiar with beef Wellington, but I don't have beef, so I'm using chicken. Don't worry, there is a recipe, and it is available to you. I'm going to start by cooking the duxels, which are a conglomeration of well-chopped mushrooms and shallots, all minced together. This is going to cook down quite a bit, and then I'm going to add a little bit of beer to the mix and let it cook further. So this is actually going to take a little while to cook. I've also added some olive oil to the mix to keep it from sticking to the pan while the mushrooms are actually releasing a lot of their liquid. Mushrooms have a lot of liquid in them, so when you start cooking them, you'll notice that it really comes out. It's okay. Just keep cooking, it'll go away. Because I'm using well over four thighs of chicken, very large thighs of chicken, I've actually gotten quite a large amount of mushrooms to do the duxels with. These will sit in a pan for a while. Now I'm going to preheat this small pan here. I'll describe chicken Wellington, just like beef Wellington. A little bit of mustard, duxels, and a puff pastry sheet. Deliciousness. And because I want to brown the chicken, I'm going to start with a little bit of Crisco, which has a wonderfully high heat index. It can take a lot of heat, which is why it's used for frying. I only want to brown, I don't want to deep fry, so just a dab will do me. Now, these nice large thighs are all defrosted, and I've patted them dry with a clean towel. I just want to brown them lightly. I don't want to cook them all the way through in this pan. The reasoning for this is I want to give the spices something to stick to. They will not stick to a raw surface. A cooked surface, they will stick to. Very briefly. A little bit brown, and it's done. And if these thighs are actually too big, we can always trim them off a little bit later after we roll out our sheets. I can already smell the mushrooms cooking. Mushrooms are so delicious. Now we can start seeing the liquid coming off the mushrooms there. That's a good thing. That's good enough for the chicken. We'll move this over. Cook these just a little below medium. What we're going to do now is let these lovely little pieces of chicken cool off, And it might take up to 20 minutes before the duxels are ready for that little dab of beer. And because they don't need all the beer, beer. None for you, you're too young. Now, our duxelles have turned color. They're a bit grayish brown. The color is fine. It's okay. We don't care about the color because they're going to be inside the pastry. More importantly, they're getting a little mushy, and the pan is now dry. This is exactly what we want. What we're going to do is we're going to add a fairly generous pinch of salt. And more importantly, a sip of beer.
Love it when you cook with beer.
There we go. Maybe just. And then we're going to let that cook down again at a little bit of a lower temperature. So it wasn't like medium. We're going to cook it down between medium and low, just few little notches down. And let it warm gently and let the beer soak into the mushrooms. And that's going to probably take at least another 10, 15 minutes. And because it's beer time, we have to have a toast. This first toast I would like to dedicate to the World War II Club in Ireland. Respect, honor, educate. The first club to have a Holocaust educational program, the World War II Club is a non-political organization educating participants and witnesses by pulling them back in time to experience what life was like during a specific time period through reenactments. Portrayals are for both combatants and non-combatants, portraying forces from both sides. You can find out more through the www2club.com. What are we drinking?
This is the Wolf Tree Brewing's No Me Don't Play That Belgian Pale Ale. It has imperial, it's called Nomi because it's the yeast is Nomi yeast. And they call it sort of an imperial pale. It's not really, it's like a 6%. But
well, that's imperial for a pale.
You can definitely feel that additional.
Well,
you can definitely smell the Belgian yeast. And
you
that
can.
Gnome is.
Cheers.
I think I remember that the gnome was kind of an experimental yeast or a new one that people wanted to sort of play around with. So
well, the yeast is actually really prevalent.
It is.
Yes.
It has a very mild banana flavor.
It's very smooth,
but it
very
kind
drinkable.
of blends with the malt here. I think it's not like overwhelmingly banana, but it's definitely has that richness to it
and a lovely pale color to it.
Wolf Tree is up
excellent
in
head
Seal
too.
Rock, is like right up on the Oregon coast. And
look at the lacing. Look at the lacing on Sorceress Zero.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That is
really
nice.
It sticks. That's fantastic. I love the aroma. The aroma is really, it's not big Belgian, but it's a lovely mid-range Belgian aroma. It's not obnoxious. It's not sweet. You could totally drink this in the middle of the day. That'd be fantastic.
It's one of those really nice beers that you enjoy on a cold day, but you would really enjoy in a hot day too. So.
Exactly. Well, to everybody in the World War II Club, this one is for you.
I need to.
Yeah, I know they're fantastic gloves. I mean,
really fantastic.
Really fantastic gloves.
Honestly, this is so beautiful already, and like.
Yeah, but it feels like
it's just.
But that's what happens when
it's metal.
It's Kevlar.
But it just feels like it's awesome.
Kevlar gloves, can
That's
go
the
right
bulletproof
over
stuff that the president
sharp.
wears.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah. Don't do that at home.
No, please. Not if you're not wearing one of these.
You're not wearing a
please
Kevlar
do
glove. Do
that.
not do that. The mandolins are one of the best tools I've ever had for getting things sliced quickly and equally. Ever. Really a fantastic tool. But you gotta have the protection.
I've seen so many people on cooking shows just cut pieces of themselves off on mandolins, and I just
Isn't that beautiful already?
Yeah.
it is.
It's not even.
It's not even done.
It's not even done.
What are
but
you making?
I am making. It is a rainbow salad. So we've got. Get down in here, and we're gonna toss it through. We've got red cabbage. We've got rainbow chard with a variety of different things. We've got very thinly sliced, courtesy of Sorcerer's Zero, carrot, golden tomatoes, and we're actually going to toss this all together in order to create just this stunningly beautiful appearance. I should try to keep as many of these beautiful tomatoes on top as possible.
So where'd you find the recipe for this?
Honestly, I was looking for unusual salad recipes, and I found this one online on a beautiful blog. Oh my gosh, if I can remember the name of it. I will be...
Was it a Japanese blog?
No, I don't think so. We will find the name of the blog, because I am going to make sure that they get credited for this amazing salad. The salad actually, the only part of the salad that I haven't done yet is it actually called for a mandarin orange to be sliced over the top. I did not want to buy a whole thing of mandarins, so I actually bought a large orange, which I'm going to slice over the top. But I'm pretty sure it's going to have the same sort of flavor. It's just going to be a little more orange. I need to peel this now. Here. Oh, I got it. I just have notes to try. I just don't have any nails right now. I could actually just cut.
Yeah,
the
just
ends
cut
off.
off the. That's what I used to do. Is just cut off the end of it and then peel it. I used to do that as a
I already
kid.
had it on here. Well, that may not. Never mind.
Oh, I used to love the oranges with the really thick peel because
Oh,
the
yeah.
actual
Well,
the
I was
white
gonna go to
pith.
Google Docs
People
to try to.
like don't
It's
really
so
like
good.
the
I mean,
white
we
pith,
should
but I
save
love
this
it.
to. We should save this for making the
But
punch.
I don't have it on my.
Oh yeah, the peel.
Orange zest is so good for making punches and mixed drinks and desserts and anything like that.
You know, the cake called for candied lemon peel, and I
Ooh.
couldn't find any in the store. I can never find candied lemon peel in the store.
Do you know? You should learn how to.
wish I
we
should
we
make
should
it.
candy our own.
Yeah, I should learn how to
Well,
candy it.
I know that Francesca's going to teach us how to make simple syrup today,
Yes.
and you can use simple syrup as a candy. So we could actually candy this stuff if we wanted to.
Navel. What?
Navel oranges.
Go
Go Navy!
Navel orange. Yes.
I know, I did it on purpose. Go Navy!
Go Navy.
Thank you for holding. I feel so awkward. But
Salad? What salad? I just don't want to get in the camera's way. Oh, it's so pretty.
there it is. All ready to be dressed later.
That's right. It's undressed.
The salad is not dressed.
I'm undressing it with my eyes. Should we put it in the fridge?
Sure. If there's room.
Oh,
I mean,
can make
that gets it out of the way for whatever cooking needs to be done.
This is not the beer you're looking. There we go.
Awesome. Thank you.
Gee, Francesca, I really love how you handle your meat.
Well, you know, I've had a lot of practice. But
I love military jokes.
we're going to make today steak tenderloin Diablo bites.
Mm.
Oh, Diablo.
And that's
Mm.
if I can open this baggie.
Sounds
Do you want
spicy.
help?
Oh, I got it. It's a little spicy. It can be more spicy than I'm actually going to make it. So what we're going to do today is we're going to kind of do a version that we can adjust the spices according to what each of us prefers. So we can add or subtract. Well, we can't really subtract, but we can add spice. So I have a lovely steak. It's I believe it's a New York. But that's what Throne Imperial told me. I think it to me, but it doesn't matter. Any kind of steak, you're looking for a tenderloin or a strip or even a flank steak, it doesn't really matter, but you're just gonna cut it into, I'm gonna cut off the biggest pieces of fat and then kind of try to cut it into,
I can check and see what it
Cube.
is.
Size pieces.
yeah, bite-sized pieces. If you really care if they're exactly the same size, then you can be very, very careful. Not so incredibly concerned about it as long as I don't have some that are going to cook way faster than others.
Where'd you find the recipe from?
Okay, so I stole this recipe and, well, half stole and half kind of made up this recipe. So Georgie's restaurant in Newport has a Diablo tenderloin bite appetizer. That's probably one of my two favorite things on the menu. It's wonderful. It's just really, really good. And I was thinking, I want to do something like that. I want to, find a recipe that's like that. And everything I found online, clearly the Diablo sauce was not the Diablo sauce they used, because all the Diablo sauces I was looking at had tomato sauce in them. And I was like, sure there's no tomato sauce in this. Totally positive. So I looked up, so Georgie's happened to be kind enough to put their Diablo sauce that they put on their pasta online. So I'm going to use their sauce and then a steak tenderloin recipe from a different place. We're gonna mush them together and make them really, really yummy. So we're looking at like about a pound to a pound and a half. You can do more if you want to do it for an entree instead of like for an appetizer. Of steak and now I'm going to hit that with some salt and pepper.
You require a specific pan.
I just need a skillet with some olive oil.
Olive oil is in the gigantic gallon container right
Right
there.
there. Oh, yes.
There's
fantastic. I love it. This is awesome. Alright, so I'm gonna heat up my oil. You want it to be pretty hot because we're barely gonna sear these. They're so tiny and you don't really, I don't know about you, but I don't really like my steak to be super, super well done. So if you do, then you can totally leave it on for longer. Put it on a little like medium-high heat and let that get hot while I salt and pepper.
That is salt.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Assistant. Fine.
Every chef should be treated like a special person in the kitchen.
Thank you.
And
A
then
member of our current pantheon of gods.
Pantheon. Yes, exactly. Chefs are among the
Well-
pantheon.
while I'm waiting for this to heat up, I'm gonna go ahead and get my garlic and my shallots going. I'm just gonna go ahead and do it on a plate if that's okay.
Mhm.
Oh, I'm in the wrong place. So the thing about the steak bites, you can do them any way you like. There's like teriyaki ways. There's I'm having trouble cutting on a plate ways. There's but there's barbecue. If we didn't want to do this on the skillet, if we wanted to go down to the grill, the barbecue is actually equally good, possibly even better way to make sure that you get a nice sear and a little flavor on those bites before you put your sauce together.
You should really show the viewers your tights.
Oh,
I can almost see them.
Deadpool.
Oh, look! Oh, that's amazing! I love that.
I love Deadpool. I'm
and
sorry, I love
nobody's-
Deadpool.
Come on, nobody's as good a shot as Deadpool.
That's right.
If Deadpool had been a Marine, man, he could have been the only Marine and he would have gotten the job done.
Yeah.
So we're gonna throw these guys in here. Oops, and we're gonna drop one on the floor, which is a shame.
Spatula is up above.
It only needed maybe 30 seconds on every side.
That's okay.
Thank you. I think I actually might have it up just a little hot too. But
Well, it's a different stove. You're not used to it.
Sounds delicious.
It does sound delicious.
Mm-hmm.
but I do want to give it a good sear. On every single side. I would say if you just like a light, a medium rare, because we are going to put these back in after we make our sauce. 1.5 to 2 minutes is probably all you really need, just to make sure that you have them browned on all sides. And you don't have to actually roast the garlic if you don't want to. You can just use regular garlic. It's perfectly fine. I like the, since this is for the sauce, I like the sweetness and the kind of richness of roasted garlic going into a rich sauce that involves cream and wine and things like that. So that's the reason why I decided to go that direction.
Yum.
And it's just, I just threw some olive oil and some salt and pepper, and then I tossed them in the oven.
It smells so good. It smells really good. You know, like seared steak has this heavenly scent to it.
Okay. So this steak is actually, because you can see it, the weird thing is when it starts to look a little bit bloody, that's when I want to take it out. I don't want it to overcook. And so, it's going to keep cooking as I take it out. So,
Yeah, you're taking it out when it's rare. And when it's rare is when it's going to start actually looking
Sorry, I'm
kind
gonna
of
have to do more of your dishes.
Oh, it looks so good. Sorry, you have to deal with the peanut gallery, Francesca.
I love the peanut gallery.
You may have to
Peanuts
put
is
up
my
a, you may have to
favorite
put up a fence because there are droolers over here.
If you have an excess amount of oil right now, you can take it out. You don't need to have like super greasy. This isn't bad at all though. This is very lean meat, so I'm actually gonna leave it like the way it is. I'm gonna add some butter, and we're just gonna brown it up real quick, super fast. Okay, 2 tablespoons of butter. And then I'm just gonna use the butter.
You know, this looks like you could totally do it over a campfire too.
Oh, you could do it over a campfire. Like I said, you could do it over a grill. It's just really nice. Okay, got my butter going. And in that butter oil beautifulness, we're gonna put our aromatics. And all you want is to start to smell them. You don't want to overdo it because this is hot. You want to burn it.
So yummy.
Going to be lovely. And the only problem I have is that I need to open this wine really fast before I burn my butter.
Can we help? Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Yes, please, come. Alright, I could just go through the top. That's totally fine. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Sorceress Zero.
Hang on just a minute. I know I'm messing up the shot. Sorry. I'm gonna get in trouble with our producer here.
It's a shot. It's a shot of wine being opened.
She's improving the shot. The wine has been opened. All right, so we've got this beautifully cooked down. I think you guys can smell it, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Sounds delicious. All right, and I just need.
You can just take one off.
I just need a half cup. And man, this thing is almost too big for my hand.
Yeah,
What you get when you
hands.
That's what you get when you buy enormous amounts of wine. We're gonna deglaze it a little
we
bit.
have too much wine.
No, we already established that they can't.
Said no one ever.
Sort of try to deglaze that down a little bit so it doesn't stick, and then you can. And we're gonna reduce this down to half. Once we reduce it, then we're gonna add our cream and our chili sauce.
How long does it usually take to reduce it? Is it a long time?
Oh no, it shouldn't be very long at all. It should just be probably about 3 to 5 minutes. Maybe it feels like forever when you're on camera, but
because I know doing the duck souls, doing the mushrooms and putting them down, It took forever. It takes like half an hour to do
Oh.
just the mushroom.
Yeah, because mushrooms have all that extra
Water.
that you have to that you're trying to squish out of it. Whereas this is wine reduces down, and honestly, one of the reasons that you reduce it down this much is for if you don't want anybody to actually taste the wine, and you and I don't really care that much if there's some wine left in our sauce. So we don't have to be so incredibly precious about it. But no, it should be like it should be like 3 to 5, possibly even 2, depending on how high you have your simmer on. I mean, I can already see it coming down. I can see this gorgeous color that it's making.
Well, Cybernaut says if you want something that's a little sweet but still has the bite of garlic, take a cup of water and a cup of milk, bring it to a boil, and then drop the head of garlic into it.
Oh,
That actually sounds like a really awesome idea.
that does sound really cool. Ooh, I like it.
So thanks, Cybernaut, for that lovely little tip that I'm definitely gonna try.
Definitely.
Because there's really no household that could not be benefit by more garlic.
I love garlic. We have so much garlic right now. Cannot tell you how much garlic. That's why I started roasting it.
Yeah.
And experimenting and what can we do with garlic? And but you can
Bread.
But you can
eggs,
see these
meat.
guys. You wouldn't want to cook them any more than this. Well, I wouldn't want to cook them any more than this because I like to see a little bit of medium rare on mine. Oh, bread and eggs and
Yeah.
now I've been smelling this beautiful stuff. It's kind of
Nothing wakes you up in the morning like
little
a
bit
cup
hard.
of coffee.
Okay, so
and
I'm pretty much reduced right now. So I'm going to add, and there's a lot of.
Yeah, you can just take that
so
off.
that I can clean them afterward. So we're gonna add.
Try twisting it.
Oh, thank you. 2 cups heavy cream. This is a cream base sauce. If you want to make it a little bit lighter, you could do it with half and half, or milk.
No, I don't know if I'd want to go as low as milk. I mean, you could.
You could. Half and half, I think, would probably be as low as I'd want to go, because it's very much meant to be rich, and that's why I'm making a mess. But it's meant to be very, very rich. And then the chili sauce.
Do you need a whisk?
Easy way of getting ketchup out of a jar. 1/2 cup of chili sauce. And if you wanted to make this particularly spicy, because it is supposed to be a Diablo sauce, you can add a dried red chilies or any kind of chili that you like. We're going to leave it pretty mild, and then we're going to add red chili flake as we, for those of us who want it to be a little spicier. But this is the color I'm looking for. I mean, I can look at it right now, and I can
pepper if you want.
I could put a teeny bit of red chili flake in there just for everybody, just to give it a little bit more of the kick that.
Yeah, I'm not that much of a sissy.
I know, pinch. Oh, did you have an open one? Yes, you do. I don't want to open that one since you've already got an open one. But.
Well, I know. Usually, we don't think of crushed chili flakes as being used in cooking. Normally, the only thing we do with it is put it on pizza, which is not right because it can be used in so many dishes.
It really can be, because honestly, there isn't. I'm pretty sure there isn't a big difference between the red chili flakes and the red chilies that I would be using, the dried ones. Other than that, they're.
Well, the chilies that are in the bottle are crushed instead of chopped.
Yeah.
But that's it.
But I think it's the same kind of chili.
Yes.
Dealt with the same way. Okay. So this is exactly the color I'm looking for. It looks really great. So I'm gonna let this cook, and I'm just gonna stir it occasionally for probably another like 2 or 3 minutes, and then I'm gonna throw this back in to heat it up, and then it'll be all done. We just want to thicken it up just a little bit. So I'm going to add my steak back in here and get that nice and heated up and coated in this lovely Diablo sauce.
Yum.
At this point, if you taste it and you want to add some salt and pepper, you absolutely can. But I'm just gonna let it have a minute to heat up, and then we're gonna serve it for people. Because this sauce, if you do it right, is absolutely amazing. Like, you can just sop it up with bread and throw it on some rice,
yes.
or if you can put it on pasta. If you make the sauce right, the sauce is killer. I think it's pretty much ready. I'm gonna turn this down to low.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind it if it's a little thicker than this, honestly, but I think I maybe, yeah. But it's super, I think it should be super good. Just a little bit of.
Oh,
Yeah. And then everybody can just have however much they want.
We'll have a little
And
taste.
that's
But gorgeous.
that is beautiful. Courtesy of Widmer Brothers, this is Drop Top Amber for our next toast. This is an American amber ale, and I'm really not familiar with the ABV on it. Here we go. So it's 5 point something. 5 point something percent. It's
Tastes malty. I mean,
5.3.
it smells malty.
5.3. Absolutely fantastic to go with our rolls, which are light and fluffy and crunchy on the outside and soft on the inside and so delicious. And
What you want from a dinner roll?
And this is a sort of
absolutely.
a sweetness that's
Yeah.
it's mild sweetness, but it's very refreshing.
You actually get a hop on the aroma. It's
Mhm.
it's kind of a
I
floral
think you
hop
get
on-
more on the hop,
There
more
actually
hop on
is
the
a little-
aroma than in the taste.
Yeah.
There's
there
lots
actually
of hop.
is
Definitely.
a
Look for
little
an
bit of hop
amber. It's
going on
definitely
for an
got
amber.
that amber
Yeah.
maltiness. You
Yeah.
know. But the aroma is very floral hoppy.
Mhm. This toast is to USS Boxer, the LHD-4. Launched in 1993, I was privileged to be part of its second tour of duty in the Persian Gulf from December of 98 to June of 99. The LHD-4 is named for the HMS Boxer, which was captured from the British in the War of 1812. As a Wasp-class ship, she's responsible for amphibious assault maneuvers. That means we carry the Marines where they need to go. For all the wonderful Marines and the sailors that helped me on my journey, cheers.
Cheers.
Ah, what a worthy beer.
It's definitely got that beautiful like smoothness
It has-
of a good amber.
It has a really good
a little
balance.
bit of
though.
a like
It's a really
vanilla
good. It's a
aftertaste.
really good balance. It's not like
well balanced.
it's not
yes.
like all malt all the time. It's really balanced between the hops and the malt.
I wish they just called it an ESB because it's beautiful.
It's just lovely.
I think it would. It
I
was
think it's a little
intended to
more
be an
ambery
ESB.
than an ESB.
Because I think it is intended to be an ESB. I think that they
Oh,
just
absolutely.
yeah.
But the American public is not familiar
they're not
with
ready
the
for
term
ESBs.
bitter.
Yeah.
They're not ready for the term bitter.
Well, that's like the brutal bitter from Rogue that had to call themselves a brutal IPA, even though they didn't change the recipe.
Yeah.
Or Calapooya has a great bitter. It was my dad's favorite of their beers.
Now time to actually put our main course together, our chicken Wellington, what I have here is a little package that you find your dough in. You should have thawed it by now. It should be thawed and slightly warm to the touch and dry. If it is slimy, do not use it. Take it right back to the store and yell it off. What we're gonna do is there are 2 packs. Two packs in each little paper package. We can only do one at a time here. I'm actually going to roll this out just a little thinner because this is chicken, it's not beef. Try not to get it stuck if your cutting board is a little wet, then make sure you dry it off and put some flour on it. Oh, be careful of your beer.
Yes. Always be careful
Always
of
be
your
careful
beer.
of the beer.
I'll
Please,
take that back.
Please,
The
no,
most
no
important,
party foul.
the most important thing.
Always
Party
be.
foul.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, I need to go check my recipe anyway.
You can put this as thin as you like it because it is puff pastry. It is very forgiving once it is made. There we go. I think that's actually big enough to hold an entire thigh of chicken. I'm going to make sure pardon me.
Oh no. Please forgive me.
Oh, darn it. There. Well, that's okay if you have to put it on top of the dough for a second. Make sure your baking pan is ready. A little bit of parchment. Goes a long way. You do not have to butter the pan before you put your parchment down. Just make sure that it's ready to put the chicken on. Now, to prepare the dough, stone ground mustard. Just a small amount, not an enormous amount. Normally, when you're doing beef Wellington, you're going to put the mustard on the beef, but it's much easier to put it on the dough than to try to handle a piece of meat with all kinds of mustard on it. And we don't need that much mustard because the chicken actually has a lovely flavor of its own. We do need the duxelle. Duxelle. Wow, am I ever going to get that right? Duxelle. Duxelle. Yum. Spread that all around where the chicken is going to go. There we go. You can put it on top of the chicken if you like. There we go. Nice big fat thigh.
Yummy. I like those.
think chain one of these would be plenty. And pull.
Oh. And this is why we rolled it out, because you know the thighs are fairly big, and you want the puff pastry to cover it all. Yep. And these little tucked ends are going to go right underneath. I have my oven set at 450 degrees. I'm just going to keep repeating this until I run out of chicken or I run out of dough.
That I don't, but I
I
might.
just love the way these look. Look at these. They're like
It's not going to be
pillows.
as
They're like
insanely
pillows
pretty
of
color because of the
deliciousness.
balsamic.
Oh, yeah.
Deliciousness.
They're pillows
Tastes
of
good.
deliciousness.
It is no longer Chicken Wellington, it is now Pillows of Deliciousness.
Pillows.
Smoosh! Smooshies of deliciousness.
Deliciousness.
Smooshes of deliciousness.
Smooshes of deliciousness. These are going to go in the
Not
oven
as pretty
at
color.
450 degrees for about 20 minutes. But you want to keep an eye on them. Obviously, you want the chicken to actually cook all the way, but you don't want to burn the pastry puff into non-existence or charcoal. So as soon as they're a really good brown, you want to make sure you get them out of the oven and test the chicken. You may want to make a pre-bake in your oven to see how long it takes, because you cannot eat chicken raw. Thank you. And for those of you with phones, which is probably all of you, set timer for 15 minutes.
Starting.
There we go. Here are the chicken Wellingtons. You see they're a nice dark brown, and I'm really hoping that that the chicken inside is going to be cooked, but I don't think there's going to be too much of a problem, because they're still cooking. Even though they come out of the oven inside their little shells, they're still cooking. When you tap them on the top, it's not like pie crust. They're not going to go, thunk, thunk, thunk. What you should hear is the little crisp of puff pastry, which is fantastic. I don't like to put anything on puff pastry because I like this dark brown, this mottled dark brown that's on top of it. So I'm going to let this cool, and I am going to allow the mushroom maker to make her magic.
All right. So the second dish that I'm going to be making is sautéed mushrooms in butter and beer, because I love mushrooms. The only thing I like better than mushrooms is mushrooms and beer together. So I found this recipe. Well, actually, my beautiful sibling found this recipe, and it's from the lady behind the curtain. The only major difference is that in the recipe, it calls for using both brown mushrooms and white mushrooms. I'm just going to use brown mushrooms today. But so we're going to chop them. I'm sauteing some butter, 3 tablespoons. It's a lot of butter, I know, but that's pretty much all there is to this, is just butter, beer, and mushrooms. And we're going to chop this pretty thick. I want to keep the mushroom's consistency even through the flavoring. While my butter's melting, which it almost has, I'm gonna go ahead and cut up the garnish now, because it's gonna happen really fast. Once it cooks, it's gonna cook fast. And the chives are the garnish. So chives, you got that
like those mad skills, you can like chop, 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 chop. More power to you. Just try to get it as tiny as I can. I have no trouble with being the mushroom lady. As I said, mushrooms, I love mushrooms. They're like, they're my heart kind of mushrooms. So we're gonna throw these in here with the
Hear that
butter.
sizzle.
Listen to that sizzle. And you're gonna want them to cook down just a little bit. Get nice and soft, sauteed in that nice, warm, beautiful butter. So I'm gonna let those sweat out just a little bit at the same time. I'm gonna prepare, we're actually gonna put a little bit more butter in, just 1 more tablespoon. So not a ton, just a little bit more butter, but this is a buttery recipe. And I will also prepare the beer while I wait for that to calm itself. Because we are going to put a cup of beer in here.
Yay, beer!
And I'm going to use that No Me Don't Play that we tried earlier tonight. Because I really think these Belgian flavors, the like richness and the sweetness and the malt is going to go really, really well with this. With the butter and the earthiness, the earthy tones of those mushrooms. So I've got all that set up, and now I just have to wait for my mushrooms to cook down. This is like the fastest recipe you will ever do. It is butter, mushrooms, beer, butter, chives. That's really all there is to it.
Yay!
And yet, the flavor was a knockout. It's a punch. Now, the recipe actually just called for having these, which is one of the reasons why I cut them so thick. If you wanted it to cook faster, but maybe be a little bit less meaty, you could cut them a little bit thinner. But I love the sort of almost meat texture of having like a big chunk of mushroom. It's okay, we're just waiting for mushrooms to cook. And mushrooms.
Mushroom.
Of all
badger,
the songs,
badger, mushroom.
Of all the songs that... Okay, so this is cooked down enough right now that we can add in the rest of the butter. And the beer, if I can fit it... Oops.
Ooh. You got it. We're gonna clean up their kitchen when we're done.
Yeah, we'll mop the floor for you guys. And then I'm just gonna turn it up just a teeny bit more. Turn it back up to medium. So that can just saute down just a little bit more. We want it to be beery, but we don't want you to just taste beery. You want to be able to taste that beautiful mushroom. I do think like Sam Gamgee, or Gamgee as they say in the movies, I think he should have made a mushroom song. I mean,
Yes.
I mean all the
Do
songs
you want
he
to make
made,
up a mushroom song?
the fireworks song and the troll song, which is possibly my favorite song in all of the Lord of the Rings. Love the troll song. I made up a tune for it. I can sing the troll song for you sometime when I'm drunk. But the mushroom song would have been better.
Mushroom song.
Yes, look at this. This is looking gorgeous. It just needs to simmer down so that it's not totally
I know what
lovely.
we can do for a mushroom song, Amy.
Yes.
Durable, delicious mushrooms.
Inexpensive and what do you rhyme with delicious?
You ruined me.
Inexpensive and nutritious.
There you go!
Nutritious
Whoa! Nice!
mushrooms.
Nice!
People may turn up their noses, but they don't understand. When it comes to mushrooms, eat them down. Just damn it, eat them.
Damn it, eat them is how you ended that. That's something.
Well, I thought I did a pretty good job with what I did.
It was great. I
wasn't gonna try to keep it good.
It was great.
I wasn't gonna try to keep it going too much longer. I might have gotten
Of
in
course,
trouble.
you do want to sprinkle with salt and pepper because you should always salt and pepper to taste. And if anybody happens to want more salt or more pepper, then they can always add that. I think I have the pepper over here. Yes, I do.
Very nearly indescribable. Fungi of grace.
Fungi of Grace. There we go. That needs to be a heavy metal song.
Despite the
Fungi of Grace.
It's probably gonna be about, 8 minutes, 10 minutes. If you,
Well, they need to cool just a little bit. They're really
if you want to use
Lovely.
less beer, or more mushrooms, you're welcome to. I kind of have the recipe because I wanted to, because I wanted us to have everybody to have a decent amount of everything, be able to still eat it. So
that would make a good.
Yes, it would. Oh, absolutely.
we've got, and then we'll just. All we're gonna do is just to pull it out and garnish it with some chives, and then we'll eat it as soon as it has a chance to simmer down. Right, so our mushrooms have completely simmered down to their beautiful tenderness in this beautiful beer and butter sauce. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of these on this plate, just to make them look nice and pretty. And then we're gonna have just a sprinkling of chives on top for a little extra beautiful kick of spice and that oniony goodness.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me get out of the way. That was
It's
all I was
gonna
do.
do. Like, these are just way so big.
That was legitimately all I was gonna do.
These are so big.
I know they're gorgeous.
Oh my goodness.
Look!
Oh,
Look
stunning.
at that! Oh, that is beautiful. Can you see that? Look at how pretty that is on the
Oh
inside.
yeah. Now we still gotta get salad on there.
Yeah,
Yeah, we still
gotta
gotta
put
get
some-
salad on here. Let's get a.
Oh yeah, that
There we
looks
go.
really pretty. Look how pretty that is.
That's fantastic.
That is just
And then-
gorgeous. Look at that salad.
I didn't get any
dressing?
I didn't get any.
Throw a
any-
little dressing on
Yeah,
it.
I didn't get any of the golden tomatoes in that one either, but I need a golden tomato real quick. Here we go. Oh, like that. There's one. And I don't know if it's pretty with the dressing on it.
It's pretty.
Okay. There we go.
Look at that. So we're also going to make a delicious traditional Caribbean rum punch. And this is an age-old recipe that I'm going to put a little twist on. But the old rhyme that would tell you how to make a Caribbean rum punch was 1 of sour, 2 of sweet, 3 of strong, 4 of weak. And you can use any fruit juice you want to use. Usually it's orange juice. We're going to use Diet Orange Soda. So we have an orange, and we have a little bit extra like fizz and a little bit less sweetness and sugar. But we will have some sugar because I do have simple syrup. So here we go. So the recipe is 1 cup lime juice, 2 cups simple syrup, 3 cups rum, 4 cups orange juice, 4 dashes bitter, and then a dash of nutmeg. Now, I'm not going to make a whole big thing of the rum. I'm just going to make a small amount so we can all taste it. So we're gonna cut this thing probably about in third. So here's our lime. Oh, it's also supposed to be over ice so that you can shake it up over ice. Simple syrup, by the way, is sugar water. It's really, really easy to make. You put 1 part sugar to 2 parts water. Shake it, shake it, shake it. You're using Cruzan rum. It's sort of it's very, very good for tropical drinks, like for actually being able to get the flavor of the rum, but also the flavor of what you put into it. Like if you're gonna make a scorpion, or you're gonna make like a hurricane or something like that. And just a minute on the bitters.
All slippery.
So we're having this, so I'm just gonna put 2 in there. All right. And then, so I can, this may not be enough for 4 people, but it's enough for us to taste, and we can always make some more. Stir this up nice and, it smells kind of good.
Ooh, it does. It smells spicy.
Could
Gonna
be
be
a
all
little spicy.
boozy. All boozy.
Could be a little spicy. We ready? Take that one since I'm pretty sure that's my lipstick. I don't think this is quite even. Actually, I will tell you
The big
for
one
sure
can
it's
go
not.
to the producer.
Cheers.
And then just a dash of nutmeg. Nutmeg?
Mhm.
Yeah. What do you make?
Delicious.
It smells so good with the orange. The nutmeg smells so good with the orange.
Well,
Here we go.
here we have our,
It's not super traditional in the
Yeah.
sense that I'm using soda,
but that's
Um,
okay.
but
And here's our last toast for the night. So we all have different people, and I know our wonderful producer would like to toast his grandfather. And I would like to toast my grandfather, who was also in the military. And also, sorry.
Go ahead.
I'd also like to toast Shelley Clow.
We'd like to toast to all of the wonderful members of our family who served. I mean, there are quite a few, and they're all wonderful. And
Grandfather that has passed away, our uncles, cousins.
Definitely
Friends.
uncles, cousins, friends.
We love you all. Thank you so much for your service.
Yes, thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Mmm. Oh, that's very
You
nice.
know it works. I think it could
totally
use some more
does.
rum. I think it needs some more rum.
Mmm.
I think it's
soda.
A little more rum might
I
not.
think it needs a little more
Because
rum.
you know a sailor's drink is take a
More rum.
I'll take a share of my
Have
rum.
another tot of rum. Everybody have another tot of rum.
No, Hershey, you can't have any rum.
Hershey wants some rum.
Guinea pigs and rum don't really mix. well
Want some
together.
rum?
My problem is
Of course
whenever
you
I say another tot of rum, I think of like that episode of Horatio Hornblower where I'm like, oh, but he's such a great actor, but oh my god, he's the worst. He's the worst bad guy of all of the bad guys. Not the one I hate the most, though, to be honest. Just the most horrible.
Yes.
You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You know who I mean.
Sawyer.
Yep, Sawyer.
Yeah.
Sawyer.
Yeah.
He's actually not the one I hate the most.
No, he's
but
brilliant.
He's by far the most, like, terrifying.
And didn't he
Yeah.
have a different name in the books?
No.
No? He was actually called Sawyer?
It was even more
David Warner is an
even-
freaking amazing actor. He's a
It was even more terrifying for me because I'd already played Baldur's Gate 2.
and she's like,
And
she's
I
like John Rennicus all the
I had
time.
to go through that damn intro over and over and over again. Ah, the child of Baal has awoken. And I was literally what was going through my head when David Warner was going crazy as Sawyer. I was like, what the hell? I'm
Oh,
afraid I'm gonna wake up in a
this is
cage.
better with more rum. This is definitely better with more rum. In fact, it's just about delicious with more rum. I'm liking this. She's like, no.
I was just pointing out that it was boozy. I didn't want you to change anything.
Is it too totty?
It's a little too much tot. One tot too many.
Things you'll never hear on the USS Boxer.
Yeah, no.
Wow, there's too much rum in this.
Sorry guys, you put too much. I can't.
So you put too
I
much
can't
rum in this?
continue.
I can't.
This is, you know,
yeah,
it's
no.
not
Too much
gonna-
rum.
It's not gonna happen.
Said no sailor ever.
Ever. This gives toys for tots a whole new meaning.
Oh my goodness. Yes. I will give a toy for a tot. Well, we have hit close to the end of the night. There is one dish left. That is this absolutely spectacular porter cake that was made with Lagunitas Imperial Stout. This also has a lovely bunch of raisins in it, and we're going to show you how this cake is made right now. Hi guys, this is the beginning of the Marine's birthday cake. Because it takes quite a while, I'm doing it a little bit early. And also, because we love our Marines and we love to do special things for the people that we're honoring, I'm gonna make a little bit of a special cake instead of just a boxed mix. I'm taking this out of the Complete Irish Pub Cookbook, and it's a porter cake. That's right, I'm cooking with beer. One of my favorite things to do. Now, I have had to adjust this recipe a bit because I don't have everything called for, such as This calls for mixed currants and dried unsweetened cherries and candied citrus peel. Unfortunately, I'm in an area where that just isn't possible. But what I did pick up was raisins. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take our lovely beer. I chose Lagunitas Imperial Stout. Lagunitas, we love to cook with you. I'm going to take this and I'm going to soak the raisins in it. According to the cookbook, you're supposed to let it sit for at least 5 hours or overnight. If we don't have that kind of time, that's okay. I'm going to let them sit just as long as it takes this butter to get soft enough to cream with the sugar for the cake. It says 3 cups, but because I don't want to overwhelm the cake, I'm going to take 2 cups of raisins in a small bowl. I'm going to allow the stout to sit in it, and then we'll see what happens after the butter gets soft. We're ready to start assembling our batter for our cake. Now, the first thing the book tells us to do is to make sure and sift the dry ingredients into a separate bowl. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have one cup of flour. And this is how I do my sifting. Just with a nice neat little mesh separator. This is really necessary because the texture of the cake that we want is going to be compact and moist. So we really want the flour to stay together. We don't want chunks in it. This is definitely not like a normal cake batter. And the process is going to get a little complex, but not bad. Here is the teaspoon of baking powder and the teaspoon of allspice, also sifted. At the bottom, you can just press those little granules right through the mesh and all done. And 1 pinch of salt. I'm going to stir these together to make sure that the baking powder and the spices are combined with the flour nicely. Excellent. Now I've let the butter sit. The butter does not have to be room temperature, but when you squeeze it, the sides should be able to go in. It shouldn't be difficult to squeeze. And it usually only takes about an hour and a half, maximum 2 hours to get a block of butter to this texture. You can beat the butter and the sugar together by hand, but it's going to take you a little while because it needs to be light and fluffy. You can also assist this process with a knife. Just breaking up chunks to make it easier for the machine to get the sugar and the butter incorporated into each other. Two whole sticks. This is not a light recipe. And I've already got my pans buttered and lined with parchment paper. Really important we do that because we're going to want to lift the cake batter when it's done and cool out of the pan to be able to serve it or even store it. Don't forget, this cake is really good, but it needs to be served the next day after the flavors have had a chance to combine. If you're thinking this sounds a little like fruitcake, you'd be right. Fruitcake also tastes better when it's been sitting for a couple of days. But we're we're not using so much alcohol as regular fruitcake would. Now, before I start beating the butter and the sugar, I'm going to lightly beat the eggs. And that really means just until there we go. Really just until the yolks are broken up and it's still going to be slimy and just that much. We don't need any more. Alrighty. All the sugar with all the butter. We're going to beat this for 4 whole minutes. Okay, now that our butter and our sugar have finished creaming, don't forget, we're using brown sugar. Brown sugar is pretty hard to work with when creaming. It's going to want to form that big fat clump at the bottom of your bowl. Don't worry. Just keep going. Scrape down the sides every once in a while, and eventually it'll become light and creamy, just like a regular white sugar and butter mix would be. What we're going to do now is we're going to turn it on low. We're going to add a little bit of egg, and then a little bit of flour, a little bit of egg, a little bit of flour. And after that is done, we're going to add our raisins. You don't have to wait a long time. Just enough until you see the flours beginning to be incorporated into the batter. I'd say maybe a 1/4 cup of flour at a time. Rest of the egg. And now we're free to add the rest of the flour a little bit at a time. And it's going to get a little dry, but don't worry about it. I'm going to turn the machine off to add the rest of the flour just to make sure that I get it all. Excellent. Now I'm going to scrape down the bowl to make sure that there's no flour sticking too much to the sides or the bottom, and there are no puddles of eggs sitting around. This is actually looking very nice. There we go. Make sure I scrape off the spatula. There. Okay. Now for the nice part, the raisins which have been soaking in the stout. However long you decided to soak them is just fine. They already taste pretty stouty to me. And because this is a batter, we're going to want to be able to pour it. So it can't be too dry. As tempted as you are to drink what's in the bowl, you should probably put it in there. Ooh, that's looking nice. Once again, we're gonna stop it and make sure everything is incorporated. To make sure, and I'm seeing a little bit of dry stuff that got stuck at the bottom. Take your spatula and make sure you dredge it up from the bottom so we don't lose any of it. Because our baking powder is incorporated with our flour, and the baking powder is going to be what gives a really nice fluffiness to the cake. There we go. Excellent. Looks like that is done mixing. I'm just going to scrape off as much as I can off the powder. Do not advocate eating the batter raw because it has raw eggs. And that's what it should look like. Lumpy and soft and a bit pourable. Don't worry if it's too dry, because I'm sure you got enough beer to add some more. Keep it out of your producer's hands until you've done pouring the cake into the pans. Now, I don't have a 7-inch square pan that this actually calls for, but I do have 2 smaller pans, so I'm just going to fill them up as evenly as I can. It is a bit sticky and messy. Oh, but it smells like Lagunitas beer and raisins. I love this smell. It is supposed to be as even in the pan as you can get it. And yes, it is perfectly okay to do your normal cake trick. Set it on the counter. Give it a couple of good bangs. Apologize to your neighbors down below. There we go. Nice and even. It's actually got a bit of an artistic top there to it. Now, I have this oven at 325. I'm going to put it in there for an hour. After an hour, I'm going to change the temperature to 300 and bake it for another hour and a half to 2 hours. You'll know it's done because when you put in the toothpick, it'll come out clean, and then we can let it cool. Okay, guys, the oven has just gone off for the 1 hour timer, and because I don't have that 7-inch baking pan, what I'm going to do is I'm going to check this cake before I let it go for another whole hour. I am not expecting it to be done, but I'd really like to know where it is. It's coming out just a little dark, so it definitely, there's just a little bit sticking to it. It's kind of dry. I'd say I don't want to put it in another hour, but I am going to turn it down and give it at least a half an hour. At 300. And I am going to set it for an hour, and I'm going to enjoy my beer. Half hour. I'm going to set it for a half an hour, and I'm going to enjoy my beer. Okay, it's been about 30 minutes at 300 degrees, just a little under 30 minutes. I'm gonna check these again. Oh, does look like they might be. Yep, perfectly clean. And perfectly clean. So these are done baking. But we don't want them to fall apart, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let them sit on top of the stove until they are completely cool. So here's our last cooling thing that we need to do. It is cool, completely handle. It's just slightly warm. So what I want to do is attempt to well, I guess it's just easier to pull it out. We're going to get the parchment paper off. After you take the parchment paper off, you need to store it, but you want to keep it moist. If you have wax paper, this is the best way to do it. If you don't have wax paper, as soon as you loosen it off the parchment paper, rewrap it in the parchment paper and put it in some plastic bags. And that'll keep it moist. And then, a day or so afterwards, it's ready to serve. And now we get to eat it. So, everybody take the piece you would like. I shall feed the producer.
Mm.
Let's see if all the hard work, well, obviously the hard work was Wow. Wow.
A stout comes
really good.
So good. You really get the stout.
Mm-hmm.
And
The
the
raisins
raisins,
really
are
add-
lovely.
Oh,
They add so
raisins.
much.
you don't have to have a bourbon barrel stout for this because, you know, the raisins come in there and give you that.
You could stuff the raisins in bourbon too if you don't have a bourbon barrel stout.
That's true. That's true. Then you'd have a bourbon cake. That sounds even better. Don't forget, this is the book you're looking for, the Irish Pub Cookbook, if you want to recreate this cake. Page 158.
This goes really well with the rum punch, I'm just gonna say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
They
we should
really-
dip it.
Imagine that. Alcoholic cake goes well with alcohol. Who knew?
I don't know.
And yes, thank you so much. Our friend Cybernaut finds this cake fit for consumption. An important marine tradition that somebody must find the food fit for consumption.
Thank you.
Thank you, Captain.
We did not actually finish this.
Actually, I think he's a little higher than Captain.
Didn't it? But wasn't that what it said? Was it was the captain?
Well, it said the highest marine gives
Oh.
it to
I apologize.
the youngest marine.
No, I thought they said that the.
Rum raisin is the perfect combo. Exactly. Well, this has been an absolutely spectacular meal. This is fantastic, and
Seriously, you outdid yourself in every way.
I think we all outdid ourselves. I mean, everything was really, really good.
Everything was.
Yeah.
I kind of took a back seat on this one, but what I just really wanted was for it to feel like a traditional birthday feast.
Which is what I feel like
So
it
I
did.
wanted
Everything
to have
fit
the
together.
salad. I wanted it to have the dinner rolls.
Mhm.
And you guys had such wonderful ideas for.
No, but the salad
main dish, and that was
really, seriously, the salad
And
and,
this
the
cake
rolls
is the
really
best thing
added, and
ever.
this cake is freaking phenomenal. And that, oh my god, that Wellington.
Exactly.
And beer is, again, a good choice to cook with.
Always. We cooked with so much beer today.
Oh, yeah. Definitely cooked with a lot of beer.
You have to cook. You have to try beer. If you haven't cooked with beer, try beer.
Absolutely try it.
Beer is amazing.
And absolutely honor the people that serve in your life, no
Yes.
matter what their role is, and your ancestors and your friends and everybody. in your life. And hold a feast for them every once in a while. It's really, really wonderful.
Really, for everyone out there who is in current service or has served, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate you and we love you.
Hi guys, it's Sorcerer Zero from Beery Good Entertainment. As you can see, we're getting set up to do our Beery Good Tidbits show. To start off my day, I decided to have a drop top amber from Widmer. This is a 5.3% beer, and you know, contrary to popular belief, a bitter, which actually what an amber is known as. Oh fuck! I screwed that up. I screwed that up really bad. Sorry.
And I'm going to show you a recipe for, time to take that, what was that? Just a minute, hold that, rewind.